Let's talk about rejection. So it's easy to feel disappointed when you don't get what you wanted. You didn't get the job you were applying to. You didn't get the opportunity that you were vying for. Whenever something doesn't work out, when you had an expectation tied to it, it can feel really tough to experience rejection. Oftentimes we have feelings of disappointment or even regret. Maybe we feel like we just didn't show up in the way that we could have, or we didn't say the right things, or we didn't represent our ideas in the best way. It's easy to get into that loop of thinking around what you would have done differently if given a second chance. I think that's normal. I'm here to say that there's divinity, though, in what we perceive as rejection. Because like many people have said, rejection is just redirection to something that's better for you. The challenge is, oftentimes we don't know what that better thing is yet. We don't know what it looks like. We don't know when it's coming. But when we get that no, it can be hard, because what it means is that this experience has come to an end. This relationship to this company ain't happening, at least for now in the short term. So there's ways in which you can handle rejection with grace. You can have gratitude that you had the experience in the first place. Gratitude that you met the people you've met. Maybe by interviewing for this job, you learned a couple of different things about this industry, or how your skills can be valuable to a company in this industry. Maybe you've identified who their competitors are, and as a result, now you can apply it to those companies next, since you've learned a little bit more about how your skills are valuable in that type of organization. Having gratitude for the experience and the ways that you are now different as a result of the experience, I think is a really smart way to accept the reality. You've been rejected from this opportunity, but you learned a few things in the process. Again, it's just redirection. And I think the question to ask is, given what I now know and given what I've learned, what do I want to do next? What's the insight that I can carry into the next thing? And I think it's really important that we remind ourselves, and specifically when you're job hunting or you're pitching for something and you can get a lot of no's, anytime you're in front of folks and you're asking a question of, can you help me? Can you hire me? Could this work out? The opportunity is there for that person to decline and to say no, or for that job or entity to say no. And when you get no's like that repeatedly, if you're not careful, those no's can then become a part of your identity. You can think things like, oh, I'm not this enough, or I'm not that enough, or I didn't do a good enough job at XYZ. You can really start to dissect all the things that you perceive that you've done wrong. And although there is merit in self-assessment and self-awareness, I think you've got to be careful of making decisions in the vacuum of assuming that you know exactly what the company is thinking, or what the interviewer thought, or what their notes were that they jotted down in the process. Because unless people share that feedback with you, unless they give that to you, you don't know. So the risk is that you're making up stories. You can really easily start making up stories, and those stories can then become a part of your identity if you're not careful. So that's why it's also important, if you don't get a job, if you start hearing no's repeatedly, that you take a minute to really affirm yourself of what you know to be true about yourself. Affirm yourself of the value that you know you bring, and affirm yourself that the value that you do bring isn't contingent on one man's yes or no. You are dope because you are dope. You are dynamic because you're dynamic, and you're qualified because you are qualified. Now, if you get data, facts, that they're looking for a qualification that you did not yet have, cool, that's a data point. You can take action on that. But when it comes to identity, self-worth, self-value, make sure that you're super clear that nobody's yes or no can shape who you are and the value that you bring just by being. That's the work. Take it easy, stay light. If you need help, give us a shout.